What's going on, everybody? This is Maximilian, and if you can guess what we got going on today, well, you get a gold star. Yeah, you probably guessed it. It's level grinding. I'm sorry. Well, we're almost there. Only a little bit more of this that I have to put up with, but right now I'm at a bit of a predicament because I've been looking up Umbreon's movesets because I really don't want to pass up any of the good moves that it'll be learning once it evolves. So I just found out that Feint Attack, which is basically the best Dark-type move in the entire game, well, I guess aside from Crunch, but I don't think Umbreon's capable of learning Crunch. I'm pretty sure that's set aside for Houndoom. It learns it at level 36, and right now my Eevee's at a level 34, which basically means that I have to have it at its happiness level to evolve once I grow it to level 35. So I basically cannot touch Eevee until I know that its happiness value is high enough. Now, I know exactly where I have to get it to be. I've actually found out later today in research, or earlier today in research, that you need your Pokemon's happiness value at 220 in order for it to evolve. Now, right now, the only thing I know is that it's somewhere between the range of 150 and 199, because that's obviously where the Raiders' response is in right now. I guess at this point, I just need to keep checking back with her every single time I come back, and then once she trips over to the next statement, which is something like, you must be a nice person, or something like that. It's something to that effect. Then I just basically have to keep walking and walking and walking, or just giving it haircuts for a couple of days in a row, just to make sure that it will evolve. Because the next time it grows a level, it has to evolve, otherwise it's probably going to skip over the move. I am not entirely positive if you evolve a Pokemon at the exact level it's supposed to learn a move as its new evolution type that it will learn it. However, I don't really want to risk the chance because otherwise we're just going to have a really bad Umbreon. I'm definitely going to at least teach it Shadow Ball because that move's awesome anyway, but we really need a Dark-type move for that Pokemon, and Bite just isn't going to cut it. Like, it's good and all, but we could do way better than that. So I'm going to level grind, the rest of the team for the time being. Right now I'm working through Kolava. He only has a couple levels to go before he evolves into Typhlosion. Yes. And then let's see, Meganium shouldn't take too much because Grass-type Pokemon are much easier to raise. So we'll have to raise Meganium just because, we need to have at least some kind of support in the party. Need to get it equally leveled to fight Claire. I'll probably end up raising Xatu a little bit too because he's one of the few Pokemon in the party that isn't weak against Dragon-type Pokemon. Now, he doesn't have the greatest moves in the world. I mean, he has basically Fly and Nightshade. But, you gotta work with what we've got, because we really don't have anything that's terribly good against Claire to begin with. We've got Ice Punch on Feraligatr, and that's about it. So I am just making do with whatever I have here. I may end up growing them up to level 37. I've been kind of thinking about doing that, just because I'm not sure if level 35 will be good enough. That might be stretching it, especially since we're at a huge disadvantage anyway in terms of Pokemon type. But I really kind of want to get the game going on, and I don't want to take that much more time to level grind them, because it'll probably take about a half hour or so to grow each of these Pokemon from 35 to 37. And, I've got 5 Pokemon in the party right now. So, because I'm assuming we're not counting Eevee, because I don't want to evolve it quite yet. Or rather, I don't want to get it to that level, so that way when it evolves, it will skip over its move. So, 5 Pokemon growing 2 levels, that's going to basically amount to 2.5 hours of level grinding. Now, might not seem like a lot to you people, especially if you're on summer vacation right now. You're like, oh, 2.5 hours is nothing. Like, I've got all the time in the world, but for me, it's a little different. Because I'm working full-time, so I work from, basically get up at 7, go to work, and I'm there until 5 o'clock. And then after that, on weekdays usually, I'm going to the gym, and I'll be home by 7. So I'm gone for 11 hours right there out of my day, and I can only usually stay up for 14 hours at a time when I'm working full-time. So that usually means I'm in bed by, 10 or 11, unless, of course, I'm recording a video for you guys, because, you guys gotta get your video somehow. So, yeah, not a whole lot of time in the day for me. Like, that basically would mean that I'd have to just sit at my bed and level grind for literally the entire time from when I get home from the gym until I go to bed. And that's a lot of time. I mean, I'm trying to kind of stretch it out by doing it a little bit at my lunch hour, which is a little awkward because you never know who's going to be walking by and be like, what the heck are you doing? Are you playing Pokemon? Like, I'm pretty sure that none of them would care. Like, half of them wouldn't even know what's going on here. And even if someone actually knew what was going on, they might be mildly amused. Because, I mean, hey, this game's a classic. Like, I really don't care at all if anyone sees me playing the game, because, like, I'll tell them, hell yeah, I'm playing Pokemon. Why aren't you playing Pokemon? So, yeah. that's kind of what I've been trying to do, is just like, sneak in that time at work when I have an hour off for lunch. I'll just try and get as much done as I can. I'll raise a Pokemon a couple levels if I can, but level grinding at this stage is starting to become really tedious, and it's just taking a long time. So I'm going to try to do as much of that off camera for you guys as possible, and I'm going to try and accelerate this process so that way we can actually get past the last gym leader. Because right now we've basically been sitting still for like 2 weeks now, which really sucks because we've been making really good progress the entire time through the entire walkthrough. But now we're just kind of at a standstill, and it's really starting to bother me. Like I want to get going because I need to beat Claire before I can get Lugia. I know I have to do that. So I'm just trying to get past this stupid gym. And I want to find a better spot to level grind to, because I know that cave that's behind Blackthorn is way better than that stupid ice cave I've been in the whole time. Like, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what Pokemon are in there, but I know for a fact that it's better. So I just want to kind of get there, so that way, like, I know I have to level grind a little bit more for the Elite Four, but at least that way it won't be a bunch of level 22 Pokemon that give, like, 300 experience points. Because that just makes the game take forever. Like, it's kind of nuts. And even when you do run into the occasional, like, Delibird or Golbat, they give you, like, a sizable amount of experience points, but it doesn't happen too often. So I'm just chugging along and trying to find something to make this easier. But right now we're kind of in a pickle. So, yeah. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys would think. Do you think I should go ahead and give it a shot with my team at level 35? Just go ahead and, have at it? Or do you think it might be a better idea if I just went to level 37 anyway? And that way, like, I can take maybe a little bit of time during the weekend, maybe, because I'm really busy this weekend and I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have. But I will try my best to kind of accelerate the process so that way you guys don't have to sit around watching this for a fourth time in a row. I know, it's really bad, guys. I'm sorry. But, hey, it's better than having no video at all, right? No, I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know if you'd rather see no video or if you'd rather just see me level grinding, because I know Megadium used Razor Leaf over and over again. It can get pretty dull. I mean, it was probably for the first 2 episodes when you watched me use Eevee over and over and just do nothing but use Swift and Quick Attack. So, let me know if you guys would rather not see any of these videos. I'm trying to put these out because I figure, you guys would at least like to see something, but that's just my opinion. I would like to hear back from you because you are the people who are watching the videos, so that would probably be the best thing to do, is to hear what you guys want, because basically this channel is for you, the viewer. That would be a better idea than rather just go ahead and use my own presuppositions and just throw them out there anyway. Because I know that some of you would kind of be like, oh, cool, something's in my sub box, but then I guess if it's not quality, I mean, I don't want to put it out if you guys aren't going to enjoy it. That's where I'm coming from here. So I'm going to try and keep these level grinding videos interesting if I do continue to post these out, assuming you guys do want to see these. But it's really difficult, especially since I've basically put out, 3 of these videos in a row now? So this is like the 3rd straight level grinding video that I've had now. And basically, it's kind of amounting to me saying, I'm sorry guys, but we got another level grinding video again, and I don't know, I'm getting kind of sick of that. I'm trying to deviate from this a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll throw in, like, something funny that happened to me today. I don't know, but nothing interesting happened. Nothing's going on right now. I can't give any good stories because there's just no random things right now. Like, you know how there's these random events that happen in your life where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so funny, I need to tell you this story. But nothing's happened right now. Like, life has been so incredibly dull this past week. Like, well, I guess I could say that I've started my judging experience for Magic tournaments, but I mean, like, I'm pretty sure the vast majority of you guys have no clue what I'm talking about there, so, I mean, like, what's the point of even bringing it up? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an old story. It's not recent, but it happened a couple years ago. Maybe some of you guys could appreciate this, because I'm not entirely sure how this was possible, but it did happen, I promise. I'm not making any of this up, and I'm not exaggerating in any way. So, I went with my mom to the grocery store. I think it was about, let's take a wild shot at it and say 6 years ago. We'll say it's 6 years ago, because that's probably what it was. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, we're going to the grocery store in the parking lot, and we just walked out, got our cart of groceries, and we're heading back to our car. And while we're walking, we notice that there's this rather large crowd of people just kind of standing on the sidewalk and on the curbs, just looking in the same direction. We're like, well, what's going on here? So naturally, we turn and look, and I'm not kidding. I'm seriously not making this up. There is a minivan that's parked in the parking lot, but directly on top of it, and we're not talking like, kind of on top of it, like bumper on the hood. Like, we are talking as if somebody picked this up and dropped it directly on top of the car. There is a guy sitting in his car on top of a minivan. Now, if you can picture that, it's like a giant car sandwich in the middle of a parking lot. Like, this minivan's completely destroyed. I have no idea how this woman managed to get it out of the parking lot, or rather, like, how she was reacting to this, because, like, I mean, it's a guy in his car sitting on top of your minivan. And he was still in the car when we got out there, which made it even more funny, because he had to try and somehow dismount the minivan, because, I mean, he's suspended like 8 feet in the air. He has no clue what's going on. But that's the thing, though. How do you manage that in a parking lot, of all things? Like, I could probably see that if you had, like, a ramp to go on and you could gain some speed, but you're probably not even going faster than 10 miles an hour in a parking lot. And this guy somehow managed to do it over a median, too, which is even more impressive. Apparently, what happened was he backed up against the median, and that somehow kind of thrusted his car on top of the minivan. Like, I have no clue. But it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And the worst part of it was, I went to go, like, get my mother's cell phone to take a picture of it, because I didn't have anything to take a picture of it at the time. And I realized my mom doesn't have a camera on her cell phone. So I'm just like, crap, how do I possibly preserve this memory? Because this is just the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think I tried looking it up on the internet the next day, and of course to no avail. But, oh gosh, it's the most impossible situation I could possibly imagine. And I have no idea if you guys have seen anything as ridiculous as that. Leave a comment if you think you can top that, because, I mean, come on. Like, parking lot shenanigans like that, that's just taking it to a new level. I'm not even sure if they were able to actually get it off the car using a crane, because, like, your normal situation here is, take a tow truck and pull it off, but it's sitting directly on top of the car. Like, for a second I thought they would probably have to get a helicopter to kind of airlift it off the car, but that would be a very sticky, tricky situation too, because that has to be very precise, minimal movements on the part of the helicopter. It has to be very well controlled so that you don't drop it on somebody else's car. I think what they ended up doing was they ended up bringing, like, a construction, like, industrial grade crane or something to lift the car off of the minivan, and then they had to tow both of them away. Like, I have no idea what happened to that guy's car. I'm pretty sure something got screwed up in there, because, if you guys drive a car, rule number one is it shouldn't be on top of another vehicle ever. But yeah, that's what happened. The minivan's just completely destroyed, so I kind of felt bad for that lady, but I mean, like, if that ever happened to me, I think I might just kind of, give the guy a high five or something for managing to do that, because that's just completely otherworldly. I have no idea how he managed to pull that off. I might congratulate him a little bit on that one. Let me know if you guys would do that too. Like, maybe it's just me, because I had other problems with people, like, doing stuff to my car too. It was actually a couple of weekends ago when the Harry Potter movie came out, because I remember I was going to meet friends to see it, and whereas I pulled into the parking lot, some lady opened her door into my driver's side door and dented it. And I was just like, I really should be mad about this. I remember thinking that at the time, like, oh crap, time to put my, my pissed off face on. But, like, I just was not upset about it at all. Like, I knew this would be taken care of. I knew this wasn't a big deal. I could tell from the guy's demeanor that he was honest. Like, I just didn't care. And I was going to see a movie and with friends of mine, so at least I had something good to look forward to. I guess maybe if I were running an errand, it would have been a little different. But I just could not bring myself to get upset at the guy. Like, I was almost kind of happy. I have no idea why. It was the weirdest thing ever. Like, I have my car for more than a month, and someone just opened their door into my door and dented it. And I had to leave work early, like, 3 days in a row, just to make sure I had the car taken care of, had it dropped off, I needed to pick it up, all that jazz. So, it was just complicated. It was rather inconvenient, but I don't know. Like, I couldn't do anything about it, like, as far as me getting angry at the guy. I don't know why I wasn't angry about it. I guess I kind of imagined, like, it would be, a bigger deal if it were more significant, because in retrospect, a dent isn't nothing. Like, the size, it was, like, less than the size of a dime, so it was probably, it was just like $100 repair. No big deal. Like, this is the cheap stuff that you wouldn't even consider filing an insurance claim for. That's basically what ended up happening, was he just basically paid for it right there and said, okay, we're good, I'll pick it up tomorrow, no big deal. But I don't know, maybe if it was something a bit more, like, ridiculous, like somebody rear-ending me and just destroying my bumper, I might get a little more pissed at that, but I was just kind of surprised I didn't feel any kind of anger or enmity towards the guy at all. Especially since it was, like, a brand new car, and the lady just basically didn't look at me pulling in at all. Like, I think they just pulled in recently, because I'm assuming that's the only reason why they'd still be in the car. So I just pulled in, but she didn't even bother to look to see if someone was next to her. She just kind of flung the door open, just obliviously. And I guess I could see myself getting upset about that, but I didn't. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Maybe I'm just way too nice of a guy. I tend to be way too trusting to people, so I'm incredibly vulnerable to sarcasm. Yeah, Taylor can tell you all about that. But that's another topic for another day. So hopefully you guys aren't getting too sick of this yet, because we're so freaking close to actually getting this done. But I promise I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to give you a very special gym leader video. I promise you that. So bear with me for just a little bit longer. We are almost there. And when I say almost there, I mean so very, very close. So thanks for tuning in again, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys later.